First of all, welcome back. I hope you're having a good one. The topic for today, we are talking about the transfer of energy, thermal energy. There are three vocabularies that we are going to be presenting on this day. The first one is conduction, convection is the second one, and finally, radiation. Now, conduction is the transfer of thermal energy, transfer of heat through some type of solid. Convection is the transfer of heat, thermal energy, through some type of medium, such as say gas or a liquid. And then finally, radiation is the transfer of heat without a medium or a solid. It radiates out. For example, the heat from the sun radiates out towards Earth. Well, we're going to be tying in this theme to air conditioning. Now, AC technicians, we are very familiar with this three terms of conduction, convection, and radiation. What we are going to do today is explore and apply those three terms to the air conditioning system field. So let's take a closer look. I'm here with the air condenser unit, and we are going to explore.
Come on.
It's our condenser unit. The outdoor condenser unit is made up of three things. We have the fan or the fan blower. There you can see the fan blades. So we got the fan. Deeper inside, if we take a look, we can maybe see the compressor. See, it's really dark. But we have the compressor in there. The compressor helps to move the refrigerant around the system from outside to inside of the home. And the third important thing of the condenser unit is this grill. Okay, so those are the three things that the condenser unit is made of. So let's talk about this conduction, convection, and radiation. How do you move heat from one spot to another spot? You got any ideas? Well, let's see. So inside of your house during this time, we like to turn on the AC system. We know that without cool air, it would be unbearable to live here in Texas. It just gets so hot all the time. So we need some cooling. We need a cooling system. So now, with our condenser, if we take a closer look here, we got two copper lines. One that's a thicker tube, a thicker line. This is actually called the suction line. And then there should be another copper line. This is called the liquid line. Now, this suction line, the thicker one, which is cold to the touch, this suction line comes from inside the house, and it's carrying heat and humidity that it gathered inside your house. It's taking it outside from your home and driving it through convection outside of the house. The reason that I say convection is this line has refrigerant. Refrigerant is a gas. So that heat is being transferred from inside of the house towards the outside, carried by the gas, the refrigerant, through convection. Now, from here, all that heat from your house gets moved to the grill. The grill is very important because what the grill allows, in here if we were to take this apart, we would see tubes of refrigerant spiraling all the way down. So what happens through here, this grill, it allows the flow of air to come in through convection, and that flow of air will be sucked in by the condenser unit and blown out by the fan. The fan plays a very important part of removing heat from inside your home. And the fan, what it does is that it sucks air from outside the environment through convection, and it blows it out through the top of the unit, and that heat that was in the refrigerant gets transferred from the gas refrigerant out into the environment. Because again, you do not want that heat trapped inside your house. You want it to be released out into the environment. Now, after that heat has been released out into the environment, the refrigerant will once again be circled through the compressor, which keeps the refrigerant pumping out into the liquid line. This liquid line will still be a bit warm to the touch, and this liquid line will go back inside the home to the evaporator unit. So come with me and I will show you what the evaporator unit looks like. Alright, so now we are inside the house. We are looking at the indoor evaporator. So we love turning on the AC in full blast.
Yeah!
But a lot of us don't really have any idea how the AC system does its job. Well, I want to present to you the evaporator. So last we were outside looking at the condenser. The condenser was made up of three things: the compressor, the fan blower, and the grill, the condenser. Well, the evaporator, the unit that's found inside of the house, is also made up of three things. It has a fan blower that is found in the housing. It's got grills, just like the outdoor condenser. These are actually the filters, but behind the filters we can see the grills. Now, fun fact, all that stuff that gets accumulated in the grills, you know, that's not only humidity, but it's also dust and dirt that's gathered from the house, human flesh, hairs, anything that's circulating in the air inside the home. So that's why you have to clean or put in new filters every month. And so we have the grills, we have the fan blower inside the housing compartment, and then next we have this, which we call it a expansion valve. This is actually a capillary. This is a capillary expansion valve. So what happens here now is the refrigerant that is coming from outside of the house, coming from the compressor, it's being that refrigerant is being transported through this liquid line. It enters the capillary tubing or the expansion valve, and this expansion valve is super important because it creates a pressure difference from high pressure to low pressure. Why is that important? Well, when the refrigerant is converted from high to low pressure, the refrigerant drops dramatically in temperature. And it is this temperature drop of refrigerant that allows it to travel into the evaporator, where once it's traveling through the evaporator, the fan will create a convection current that allows your air from inside the house to pass through this filter, and the copper tubing, the evaporator, will absorb that heat and that humidity from inside the house, and in the form of convection, that heat and humidity will be transferred through the gas again back to the outdoor unit. Now, some of that humidity is also conducted. Remember, conducted is when thermal energy is transferred through a solid. So some of that humidity is transferred to the copper tubing, and that is why we see a tray here at the bottom where all the humidity from inside the house needs to be released. So in here somewhere, we should have a tube, a PVC pipe, where that humidity can be released back outside the house as well, because you don't want that humidity inside the house. All right, so now we're going to go back to the lab. Is this on? Is it on now? All right. Okay, recording. All right, so first of all, welcome back to the lab. This is Mr. Q here. For those of you who have not looked at the calendar online, I put on there that for today, it is Dress Like an Old Person Day in honor of all those who are higher at risk of being affected by the coronavirus. Okay, well, it's time to wrap up this lesson. Ooh, by the way, look at that. Looks like in the future I'm going to be bald, but still have a beautiful mustache.
No, sir!
Anyhow, so there are 3 terms for today: conduction, convection, and radiation. The key things to know is that conduction is the transfer of thermal energy through some type of solid. Convection is the transfer of thermal energy through a gas or a liquid. I hope I didn't say that backwards. Let me rephrase
Come on.
it. Conduction is the transfer of thermal energy through a solid. Convection is the transfer of thermal energy through a gas or a liquid. And then finally, radiation. Radiation is the transfer of thermal energy through empty space. For example, a heater. Have you ever been around a heater, especially during cold winter days? If you put your hand close to the heater, kind of like this, oh, you can feel the hot just beaming out of the heater. So those are the 3 terms: the transfer of energy. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you next time.